Okay, I'm 2 thousandths out. Run out. I went wrong. There we go. That's about 2 thou there. Okay, now let's see how we are on a taper. About 2 thousandths in taper, if that. Yeah, about thousandths and a half, 1.5 thou. Okay, let's see where our run out is down on this end. Still about 2 thousandths. Let's stop it anywhere. I don't care where you stop it. Let's see how our taper is. Still about 2. That's about as close as I can get it. What I've done is, because of the damage on the drilled center on that shaft, I've just kind of averaged everything out by using the 4-jaw, and I found the best run out and taper that I could, and we've locked this shaft at that position on this chuck just by using a dog, so it'll always be turning right where it's supposed to turn. So that's about as good as I can do, and that allows me to go ahead and now check this and then face it, because I know I'm oriented properly this way and this way. I'm as good as I can on axial run out. Okay, now that I've gotten this as concentric as I can, taken as much run out as I can go ahead and recheck the face of this hub. Now let's see just how far we're out. I'm zeroed at the low spot. Here we go. Where's the low spot? There, right there's the low spot. Let's see just really how far out we are. I'm going as high as 15, but this is a beat up hub. So I was testing 25 thousandths run out at the face of this hub. Well, setting that other end the way it ought to be, taking all the whoop-de-doos out of it, that brought me down a full 10 thousandths in what I thought was excessive run out, which is, this right here is, well, what do you call it? Axial run out. The other is radial. So I'm probably just going to have to kiss this a little bit because it is bent. It's been beat up. You can see right there. There's a right in here. A lot of this was done with the puller. A lot of it's been done with just the years of being used. I mean, it is a brush hog. So that's what we'll do. We're at the point now where I'll just take probably 5 or 10 thousandths off of here and call it good. It is, by the way, torqued. Before it had just been tapped on with a hammer. I wanted to put it on, torque it just to make doggone sure that I was seated on the taper. So that's where we'll go from there, is just take maybe 10 thousandths off, get it close, and it's ready to go on the machine. I mean, it's not the space shuttle, Okay, I'm just about set up to turn. The machine's been sitting overnight. I don't know, it got down in the 40s last night. So what I would do I've always done it, is run it neutral for quite a while, get the oil circulating, and to get the bearings warm. Then I'll run it at 70 RPM to warm up the spindle bearings. I do all this before I put a load on it. I mean, I know it's not the greatest machine on the planet, but it's all I've got, and I hate to tear it up. But I'll be turning it, I figure about 120 RPM because it's a 7-inch hub, so that ought to be slow enough. And I'm going to go ahead and use carbide because it's cast iron. It might be steel, I don't know what it is, but it's an interrupted cut, and if you keep it slow enough, the carbide seems to handle it. I really don't want to get into using high speed on it today. Now the dog, I made this for another job, I don't know, probably a year or two ago, and it's come in handy once or twice since then. but I got real fancy with it. You can put a counterweight on it so it stays in balance. You don't get a lot of wobble, you know, mess up your bearings and every other thing. But yeah, it works. And, you know, I mean, it's just a matter of putting some scrap together and, you know, figuring it out. As soon as it warms up, go ahead and turn it. Now it's very possible that some of that warp on that hub was done when I had to heat it to get it off. Because I mean it was a booger to get off of there. I used just a huge propane tip on it. My God, I had it cherry red all the way around before it would even budge. So some of that might have been a little bit of warp. I don't know. Doesn't matter because, you know, we go ahead and face it and it's a done deal. Okay, at this point I've got just one really bad high spot where I had a ding on it, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn that down first. Not running very fast. My work light's out, or you can see better, but you can hear it. It's got quite a bit of warp in it. Well, it dates back to the 70s. It's been run into the ground. But that's taken 10 off. Might have to go a little bit more. Yeah, just let it walk across. And keep an eye on it. See how it does on the bolt holes. That's where I'm going to tell how that carbide's going to hold up. See, the cool thing about it, well, that's turning, might as well. The cool thing about it is, you're looking at the point there where it goes into the shaft. That point in relation to the shaft is not moving. The point and the shaft are turning at the same speed, mainly because of the dog. See, the dog locks it all together. I mean, it's always going to be in the same position. That's how I was able to take my run out and taper out of the mess. Because, you know, I was just able to lock it together, I guess you'd call it. And so that was just a kind of a, you know, a quick and easy way around a problem. You can see the pattern. It's pretty messed up, I guess. Let me turn that thing instead. There we go. I gotta take it out of gear.
At that point, I think it could have been anything. I think we just
see, I'm taking off of just one section. That's your high side where it's taken off. So it tells you it had quite a bit of warp in it. I've run out of cut. It quit cutting, so now I'll come back out and dial it in maybe another 5 or 10 thousandths and take off a little bit more. And when I can get it, you know, fairly good around here, I'll quit, because I mean there's no point in turning the thing back to nothing, you know. I mean, as long as you know you're going to have a square mount between all 4 of these bolts, you're good to go. You can tell by the sound we're starting to even out our cut now. You don't hear that ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. It's getting smoother. That means I'm getting down into good material. The further away I get from that outer diameter, the better it's getting. That might have been from that 3-point or that 3-jaw puller, I don't know, because like I say, I got it awful hot. Well, we'll see how this cut turns out. I'm only taking 10 thousandths off. I'm not sure what this material is. I'll get a light on it. It's coming off pretty granular, which means it could be a some sort of cast iron, or what they call oh darn it, they make chucks out of it. I'll have to think about it. Remember what the word is. It's something, it's like a near steel or something like that. I forget what they call it, but it's kind of a mix of cast iron and steel. It's just kind of whatever goes in the pot, you know. Ha! I got it. Semi-steel. If you look at a catalog and look at some of these machine tool parts like chucks and sometimes vice bases, stuff like that, it'll show up, you know, on the description as semi-steel, which means it's not steel, it's not cast iron, it's kind of a, you know, a hodgepodge of both. Like I say, it's whatever goes in the crucible when they pour it. Okay, I went ahead and stopped cutting because you don't hear the cutter running anymore. When you don't hear the cutter running anymore, you know you're in the relief. When they make these hubs, they cut a relief down near the center, and it's so when you know, you don't want it going right up against the shoulder because nothing will fit on it. You know, anything with a square edge won't fit against that shoulder. So they always cut a little relief in it. It's got like a little groove around the center of the hub. So once you get to that point, you just go ahead and quit. Let's see what we got.
Do something is that, yeah, the raw materials are actually not even free. You're making
Let me put that neutral.
That's the brilliance of it, because you basically
These are my low spots. They're not in a good spot. Right there. It means when you tighten it down, you're going to suck whatever you tighten down into that low spot. So I'm going to have to take a little more off. If I were shiny, if it was shiny all the way around where the bolts are, and you know, even ending there, I don't care. You know, starting to get dark again where it's high, you can probably get away with it. But as it is, it looks like I'm going to have to go just fully face the thing. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. Yeah, see. It's funny how it warped, but warped it is. Okay, you can hear it. This is the next 10,000ths in, and see how it's smooth now. So you know you're probably down to good material, at least out here. I don't know what it'll be like towards the center of the hub, but out here I'm good. I've gotten to where I need to be. Yeah, that's the sound you want to hear. Just that nice steady hiss. It means you're grabbing material. For now anyhow, we're out of the low area. And you can look at that stuff again, those chips. See how granular it is? That's why I know it's not true steel. And that's another good reason for selecting carbide for this kind of thing. Normally I like high-speed steel, but this cast iron is highly abrasive, and it just wears that high-speed steel out just, you know, in a blink. Whereas a carbide, it can turn that stuff all day long, you know. Alright, let's see where we wind up. We'll just keep at it. It's getting there. Getting down close to the center. I may have to, I'll see where I wind up, but if there's not enough relief, I'll have to go in there and cut a groove right around the center of that, you know, shoulder. But it's really, I think so far we've taken probably 20 thousandths off. That one bump, that doesn't really count. I mean, I just machined that down to roughly, you know, level with the rest of the hub, you know, in its warped shape. So we've probably taken about 20 thousandths off, which, yeah, that's not bad. Okay, you can hear it's not cutting anymore. We haven't quite reached that shoulder, which means that there's still some relief left. I'm going to turn it off and find out just how much is left and see just what we got. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Hold on, let me. Yeah, she's in neutral. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Got her. So it's only about 20 thousandths. But, you know, at 20 thousandths, you know, there's a plate that sits on here, and the blades go out. It's a 6-foot brush hog. So on each side, you're going out 36 inches. And I don't know how many pounds is spinning around there at a pretty fast rate. So, I mean, that, you know, 20 thousandths can throw the whole thing out of balance. I know for years it's kind of vibrated and wobbled ever since I think I hit a big old chunk of pipe or something. It was either in the pasture or in the yard. And boy, I mean, it just, the clutch kicked in and everything. I mean, it just wasn't happy. And it never ran that smooth since. So this might get her right back to where, you know, she was. So, all right. I'm going to see how much that is left down in there. And I might just cut a little bit of a relief in there just to be sure. I can feel it with my finger, and I might just go ahead and do that. It's not, you know, I'll just plunge in a little bit, change the angle on that cutter, and plunge in a little bit, you know, maybe 10, 15 thousandths. And that way anything that sits on here will sit flat. I think it's pretty much a done deal. Okay, so all you can see, I've rotated the tool post just a bit. So I've turned that into a form tool, basically, is all I've done. And now I'll go ahead and just plunge in a little bit and see where we're at. And turn this thing off. I need all my hands and eyes. Okay, I cut a little bit of a relief there. See if you can see it. Yeah, you should be able to see it at that angle. I can see it on the screen here. And all it is just, you know, just something that it's just so things don't interfere. So I think we're good. It's kind of hard cutting that because it's a straight plunge, and I don't have a very rigid machine, and boy, it causes it to shudder a little bit. But anyhow, it's ready to go on the brush hog. Now I got to rebuild the PTO shaft. One end of it's a little screwed up, but well, it is what it is. The thing hadn't been in the shop in 100 years, so I figured as long as I got it in, might as well do everything on it. All right, take care. Okay, just a quickie. All that fiddling around, you know, to compensate for that bad end. Here's where we wound up. Now I'm just spinning around the center, which means this is how the shaft will rotate. Not how it's going to rotate on the lathe, but how it'll rotate in the brush hog. I'm about 1/1000, maybe 1/1000 and a half out. That's not bad, you know. I mean, this thing is 50, 60 years old. I don't know, somewhere in that range, 70s. So we're good. I mean, you just really can't beat that. You know, well, at least I don't think you can. I mean, I'm pleased with it, I guess, so that's all that matters. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.